Rangers. This is Rios here calling all Rangers.
Yeah, Riz, come in. What's happening?
We got a special guest here, and he was on about the Zeal crystal.
Too slow. Does it have to be right now?
Yes, right now because he's asking for Chris because of the Zeal crystals.
Oh,
Chris here.
Jesus.
I hear about the Zeo crystals. I know. I got to get that Zeo stat plugged in there. So
Yeah, and let's just say he's not very happy.
well, I figure he ain't gonna be happy if the stat ain't in where its place should be. So, I mean, come on, guys, let's do this.
Chris, what did you do with the crystals this time, bruh?
Hey, it ain't my fault we get called out to battle and the stat needs to be in its place.
Hey, Chris, you need to put this with the Zeo sword.
Hey, that's another thing we got to get the Zeo sword back to its place.
Yeah,
Right.
let's just say he's little and he needs those stats. He needs a Zeo sword and the Zeo crystal as fast.
He's gonna need that crystal fast. So we need to get to him. We need to get to him.
Yeah.
I think we should go before it's too late.
Yeah, you better teleport to Command Center now because he wants to talk to us as well.
Fine.
On the way, Rangers.
We're on our way.
All right, guys, backdash.
Duh.
Light them up.
Hooah.
Today is our co-host Joseph Van Camp. Jisoo. He is going to be introducing our very special guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, listeners of the Multiverse Rangers podcast, I would love to introduce you to the one and only, the phenomenal Michael R. Gotto, who played young Tommy in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TV show.
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
Michael, thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Joseph, explain how everything works, and we go from there.
It's my honor to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, first things first. Everyone is going to. We're going to have a few people here ask a few questions. Hopefully, you'll be able to answer all of them to your best of your ability. Then afterwards, we're going to have a 15-second break where everyone is going to be silent to give time for our editor to put in our sponsors.
Nice.
So we will start off with the questions.
Let's do it.
Who's up?
Questions will be answered by hand raising.
If not,
we got
Michael's got a question.
I have a question. I have a question for you all. Is this unconventional?
This is a first. This is a first.
Yeah, really.
This is a first. Okay, go ahead.
go ahead.
Just real quick, what is your favorite season of the Power Rangers?
Oh,
You're putting us
That
on
is hard.
damn.
It just got real.
It just got real. All right, answer one by one.
And you can only pick one.
With the first hand raised.
Only one? Okay, that's not fair.
One. Okay, fair enough.
No.
Fair enough.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Who's first?
The one with the first hand raised. That's you.
Oh boy.
Either.
Question: what season I like? What got me into it was the Jungle Fury series.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Who's
Raphael
next?
I think Rachel, you had your hand up. Yeah, let
Mine's
Rachel
gotta
go
be-
first.
Mine's got to be the original Mighty Morphin, the OG of all
The
all
OG.
time.
There you go. Who's next?
Well,
I like the OG as well. Rita's my
nice.
favorite out of all the bad guys.
Gotta love Rita.
And unfortunately, he is not with us. Jason David Frank was my favorite.
Yeah.
Rest
Rest
in
in
peace.
peace.
Rest in peace, soon.
What about you, Chris?
Me? Well, personally, I'm a Zio fan. But I was especially a fan of yours when you were a part of Alien Rangers, getting on your Zeo quest, especially. So you
Yeah,
were
I
a
found
big part. You were a big part of the Zeo generation. So,
And at the time, I didn't even realize the significance of it. But finding the Zeo crystal that made Tommy Zeo Red for that next season was huge.
Zeo was mine. Who is next?
Raphael had his hand up next.
Well, hi, my name is Rafael. I'm from Miami, Florida,
Nice to meet you.
and it's quite an honor to meet you, Michael.
Thank you, sir.
But to answer your, ignore the background in my area. But to answer your question, Mighty Morphin will always be my favorite due to the fact that I got to meet Tommy before he passed, and I grew up basically with Mighty Morphin.
Got it.
But,
Thank you.
But now my question for you is, how did you get the part? Like, what did you have to do to get the part of Young Tommy?
All right, I'll definitely answer that question. Did we hear from everyone just yet on their favorite season?
Yeah, I see people still got their hands up.
Still got their hand raised. Joseph, call them out.
I will do Alex next, then Elijah, and then Zoe.
All right. So first name is Bruce. I'm from Maryland.
Is he breaking up for anyone else?
Yeah,
it happens sometimes.
It happens on his end.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah.
Try it again, Alex.
He said his name is, from what I heard, he said his name is Bruce. He's from Maryland, but that's about all I heard in between him cutting out.
While we're waiting for Alex to come to fix his Skype, I'll
No,
go
he's here
over
now.
to.
He's here now.
He's right there.
Can you try again?
No, sir.
You guys hear me now?
Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So first, Bruce, I'm from Maryland,
Cut.
and I would have to say that my favorite, if I can only choose one, I would have to say Operation Overdrive.
He says Operation Overdrive.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Who's next, Elijah? And then Zoe?
Elijah is next.
I think you're
We
muted.
can't hear
Still.
He's
Wrong
muted.
Hi, my name is Elijah from Miami, Florida. It is an honor to meet you. Thank you so much for this time.
Thanks. It's an honor to meet you, bud.
Out of the 30 years that they've done it, it's hard to choose a specific season, but if I had to, I would have to say either Zeo or Alien Rangers.
Wow. Very
Either
cool.
one of those two would have to be right there in my favorites list.
Okay. Zoe, what do you got?
Hello, my name is Zoe Rodriguez. I'm originally from Maui, Hawaii, but I'm originally now living in the United States of Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio.
Cool.
My favorite of all times, and this I grew up on this one, SPD.
All right.
Oh.
And Demi rounds it off.
Yep,
I'll be
Mr.
honest with
Gatto,
you,
it's been a while.
I saw SPD for the
was in
first
Atlanta.
time. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. Last time I saw you was in Atlanta. Especially the VMP dinner. But yes. And I gave you the biggest compliment to put a smile on your face. I told him he still counts the original 6.
Yes, and I was I was right beside him when he said that.
But yes, my favorite has to be the original, the OG.
Mm-hmm.
OG's definitely my favorite.
Can't go wrong with that.
Whom else have we not heard about their favorite season from Michael?
He hasn't gone yet.
We haven't had
Ruby.
Ruby is not. Go ahead, Ruby.
Yeah.
Ruby, go ahead. You're muted, Ruby.
Yeah, I think she's having tech issues. I'm
There you
having it myself.
Uh-oh.
Still can't hear you. We're
Can't hear
still having a mic issues.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be patient with us. We are experiencing technical difficulties.
That's all we can say.
It doesn't happen often. There you go. Plug
Okay,
in. Plug
how about
grab.
now?
There you go. There you go.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, I put audio.
Yeah, give me a second.
Anyway, ready? Yeah, I am from really important.
You're breaking up, hon.
I can't.
We can't hear nothing, Ruby. You're breaking up big time.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Okay. Who? I know. Christy, have you mentioned Michael Gotto your favorite?
It's so hard to choose from, but I have to pick Cosmic Fury.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
The latest.
Very cool.
Nice.
Latest and still can be the greatest. I'll tell you that.
That's true.
That was well done. It was well done for sure.
Right.
Oh, and here's Ruby.
Hey, you guys hear me now?
There you go.
I can hear you now.
Clearly.
All right, Ruby. I believe you're the last one to answer Michael Gotto's question.
Yeah, I've heard it. Oh gosh, for me, I don't have a favorite, but I'm gonna start with the OG of Mighty Morphin.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Well, sorry. You know what? For me, it's all about the fans. So hearing from you means a lot. So thank you for sharing your favorite season with me. Really appreciate it. And I'll get to that first question. I think it was, how did I get the part? Was that it?
Raphael, that was your question.
Yes.
Okay, Raphael. It's actually an interesting story. So my dad knew JDF from martial arts. JDF was doing the show. I think he was still the Green Ranger at the time. Maybe just became the White Ranger. And he took my dad down to the set to kind of walk around and check it out. And as they were walking around, they ran into a couple of the producers of the show. So JDF says, "Hey, my friend here has 3 sons." And the producers are like, "Oh, really? Do you happen to have any pictures?" Well, my dad had a picture of us. It was a picture of my 2 brothers and me, and we had short hair. About a month later, we got a call from the producers to audition for the show. Well, originally, because of our short hair in the picture, they wanted us to try out for young Adam, the young Black Ranger. Yeah. So we show up, and of course, by that time, we had already grown our hair out, and we had the Tommy cut, we call it. But really, it was, we didn't know it was a Tommy cut. It was just our martial arts cut. It was the long hair with the ponytail and the shaved sides, right?
I didn't know that was a thing.
It was a thing in martial arts, but it happened to match JDF. So we walk into the audition, we're signing in, and the casting director says, "Wait, we told you to come read for Adam?" We said, "Yeah." They said, "You know what? No, we're switching you to Tommy." Right on the spot.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So we had to get the lines and read the lines, and in the middle of my audition, after reading my lines, they asked us to do some martial arts. So I went into what's called a kata, which is an imaginary fight between one or more people, you may know. And in the middle of doing my martial arts, there was one part where I would do a front handspring into the splits. And when I did that, I knocked the camera over.
Oh.
In the audition room. Just completely, just knocked it down.
Unexpected.
And I actually think that's what made me stand out, because I got a call about 2 weeks later for a callback.
Nice.
I think the casting directors and the producers were like, call that kid who knocked the camera over. So yeah, I got called back. I went to the reading with the producers, and they do what's called a cold reading in that final audition. And what that is they literally hand you the lines as you're walking into the room, so you have no time to prepare, and you just have to go with it, right? And so I walked in, and I went with it, and not too long after that, they called me and offered me the job.
Awesome.
That's
Wow.
Story.
That's awesome.
That is so cool.
Thanks for the question, Raphael.
You're welcome.
Took my question.
I believe the next hand that was raised is Elijah, and then Kiva will get his.
Hello. My question is, we all know and love you as young Tommy, but when you first came into it, did you think it was gonna be as big as it was, or did you think it was gonna be just the couple of seasons from where you came in?
Well, something actually interesting is that I didn't know what it was when we auditioned. We didn't watch the show before we went to the audition. My dad told us we were auditioning for a show called Power Rangers, and I thought it was a Western because of the word Ranger. And then he tried to explain it. And so going in, I really didn't know the magnitude of the show that it is, right? Or what it would become. And that first season, we were just hired for 2 episodes. Right, Rangers in Reverse. Remember that?
Yeah.
With the camera monster, and
Right.
they freeze us in the right. That's when young Kimberly was still on the show, or Kimberly was still on the show. So we had young Kimberly. Anyway,
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was such a blast to film. And then, can you imagine a couple months later, after they edit it, to get to watch it on TV, on Fox?
That's me.
After
That's super
school,
crazy. Going to school and showing your friends that, right?
run home and watch it. It was a blast. And then we heard that the ratings for those 2 episodes were one of the highest they ever had on the show up to that point. So they wrote us back in, as you know, in season 3 with the Alien Rangers.
Yep.
And we did another 10 or 11 episodes at that point. So had no clue how big it was or would become, but just so honored to be a part of it.
Okay, nice. Thank you so much.
You got it, Elijah.
Up next, we have Kiva.
My question to you.
You are also in your car.
Yeah. My question to you, Michael, is if they ever bring back Tommy, would you pick up the mantle for Tommy Oliver?
Oh gosh, I mean that would be such an incredible honor. I always say nobody could ever fill or replace JDF, right?
Yeah.
But if the fans wanted it, if the production company wanted to continue the character, the legacy, and they asked me to do it, obviously I would consider it. And if it were the right thing at the right time, absolutely.
Oh yeah. That's a good question. That was a good question there, Kiva. Thank you. Zane, you have your hand up. What's next? Zane, can you hear you?
Zane.
I think he might be having technical issues as well.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting on Zane,
He has one.
Joseph, go ahead.
Yes. Your father actually told me a little bit of a story concerning a communicator and JDF. Would you mind sharing that story?
Oh, I'd be happy to. So this is actually one of my favorite stories to tell. On my last day of filming, JDF walked my dad and me out to our car. And on the way out, he said, I want to give you something. You know, I'm so proud of you. I wouldn't have wanted anyone else to play me. And I want to give you something to remember this experience. So he takes off his communicator and he gives it to me. I look down at it. I look closely. You could see green paint under the white paint on the communicator. So it was his original green that they painted white, and I still have that to this day.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Now here's the funny part, and this just goes to show you how awesome and funny JDF was, because I said, how could I take this? Don't you need it for the scene? Because he was still filming.
Mm-hmm.
He said, oh no, don't worry about it. I'll just tell them I lost it. So he turns around, says goodbye on his way back, and he goes, hey, props, I lost my communicator.
Wow.
So I have his, and I also have mine. Mine is obviously much smaller because I was 11 years old, 12 years old when I was on the show. My wrist was a little smaller. I have mine and I have his.
Nice.
Wow.
Cool.
Thank you very much for sharing about that.
For sure.
And Demi has his hand up.
Yes, I have a question from one of your many fans. What was it like on set?
Oh my gosh, set was so much fun. So, few things. Number one, just the family atmosphere. Everyone was so positive and had fun. Number two, the food. I mean,
How was the food on set?
the food was catered. So they'd always bring in a catering company, except the very first episode, the catering truck broke down. So you know what they brought in for our first day of filming for breakfast?
Peanut butter jelly.
McDonald's sausage egg McMuffins. It was awesome. So I loved it so much that when the catering truck came the day after and the day after that, they made me a sausage egg McMuffin every morning.
That's sweet.
And then, of course, memories. Just creating the memories. In between takes, we had so many hours of school that we had to do because we were minors and we had to make sure that we were still learning. But apart from that, it was just a blast filming with my co-stars and just making memories, not just for us, but for everyone to enjoy.
Wow, that's cool.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing that.
I see Zane has come back with his hand up now. He can ask his question.
Hello, Mr. Gotto. My name is Orlando. I am from Allentown, Pennsylvania. My question is, how has your life changed ever since the very first day of, recording for Young Tommy and being able to do all things that people only dream of doing? How has your life changed since then?
I mean, people don't recognize me on the street like they would JDF, right? Because I was a kid when I did this show.
Mm-hmm.
But my life forever changed because I'm part of the fabric of Power Rangers, and that I take seriously and hold dear to my heart. So it's not like I go around introducing myself. Hey, I'm Michael. I used to play Young Tommy. But people tend to find out whether they're new friends or I'm in education. And so when I was a teacher or a principal, my students would Google me and they would find out and they would be like, my teacher, my principal was a Power Ranger. What? So it changed in that my life, as much as I have all these other experiences apart from Power Rangers in that experience is just as much a part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Hey, Joseph, we're gonna take one more question. We'll take it from Becky, and then we're gonna take our first break.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for the communicator. Becky, go ahead.
Hi, Michael. My name is Becky. I'm in New York.
In New York.
wondering, yeah.
I love New York.
Thank you. We love it too. How are the relationships between you and all the casts?
You know, for several years, first of all, during the show, great. We would actually hang out after filming. We would sometimes go to Magic Mountain and ride rides together. We would go eat together. We would have reunions. I would stay at some of my buddies' homes, you know, and kind of spend the night, have slumber parties, that kind of stuff. And we kept in touch for a few years after the show. But then, as we got older and started, you know, growing up and going to college and different things, we sort of lost touch. And that, you know, I'm sad to say that. And it wasn't until right before the pandemic I reconnected with young Bulk, the kid who played young Bulk, Cody Slayton. And Cody and I, this was in 2019, we were talking about doing a reunion. And this is before I even knew about conventions. He and I reconnected, and we just said, "Hey, we got to get the group back together. Let's do a barbecue at my house. It'll be fun. Bring the families." And then, unfortunately, a couple months later, he passed away.
Oh.
So we didn't get to have that reunion, and it was such a bummer. I went to his funeral. He was one of the buddies whose house I spent the night at and would hang out with outside of filming. And so that was a tough loss. Yeah. And I met his beautiful wife and their beautiful children. And so I thought, well, maybe this reunion isn't going to happen. But then I got a call from JDF who said, "Hey, this is, again, back in 2019. You need to come to conventions. People are asking about you. They want to know what you're up to." And I said, "Me? What are you talking about?" He's like, "No, dude, I'm serious. They come up to my table, and some of these fans, they ask me about you. They want to know what you're doing." And I'm like, "Really? Did you say conventions like plural? Because I've only heard of San Diego Comic-Con. Are there more?" I didn't know there was this whole convention world until that moment when JDF said, "Yeah, they're all over the country and even the world." So he got me connected with Power Morphicon here in Pasadena, California. And I was supposed to do the 2020 convention. But then we all know COVID hit and the pandemic struck, and they had to cancel it that year. So I actually didn't get involved or have my first convention experience until August of 2022 at Power Morphicon.
Yeah.
That's where I reunited with Michael Lasky, young Rocky. And since then, have reconnected with Cicely, young Aisha, Julia, young Kat, Justin, young Billy, LaShawn, young Tanya.
He just recently came with him this past month or so ago at Ranger Stop in Orlando.
That's right. And so I've now reconnected with most of them, still trying to connect with young Adam and young Kim. I have reconnected with young Skull. That's Ross Samia, but we just haven't been able to do a convention just yet together, but I'm hopeful that we will. But all in all, it's JDF who is the reason why I'm out here doing conventions and connecting with the fans.
That's wonderful.
And we appreciate you for living up to his honor and legacy by doing so.
Thank you.
We thank you so much for that. We're going to take a quick pause to honor our sponsors, and we will come back with more questions and more Michael Gotto on the Power Rangers Multiverse Rangers podcast. So stay tuned.
Alex Gray and Casey Jr. in the training room working hard and training hard. But now, feeling out of breath and exhausted, Chris decides to join them. Well hydrated, While sipping his monkey madness, Chris sees the exhausted Rangers and can't help but let out a little snicker.
And how in the world that you're so guy?
Yeah, honestly, this might relate to me. By the end of the week, I'm lonely. Dude, no, what's the secret?
Chris sips his monkey madness.
I'm glad you asked, my friends. I keep myself hydrated and energized with the W hydration line. It's just a part of many things that's a part of the W family.
W? I know I don't get out much, but what's that?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Casey Jr. It's a top of the line energy drink and also an energy booster. So it pretty much gives me what I need to tackle the day and own the week. And you know what? It's also really good when you're out there, fighting them baddies. You really need to have your energy out there. But it's also good for content creators, gamers, and of all sorts. It's jitterless energy. It's made with coffee fruit extract. And it comes with many delicious flavors and no added preservatives at all. So it's real good for you guys. Here, I got a little bit of Galaxy Grenade. We'll try some of that.
Oh, no, thanks, Chris. But quick question. As Rangers, we don't really have that much of financial advantages. So, is there anything we can do to kind of budget that, or a way of saving a few bucks?
Oh, absolutely. I know how everybody struggles nowadays and they want to save a few bucks. I'm glad you asked that, my brother. So you go to www.w.gg and enter the promo code PR Multiverse, all caps and all one word. By doing this, you get to save 10% off on the entire order, man. It's awesome stuff. Plus, if you want to check out what else they got some great swag that you can show your W support proudly.
Like hats. As that is being said, a disturbance can be seen on the computer screens.
Okay, guys, we need to report to ops and get our mission. Riaz, this is Chris. We're on our way. I hope you guys are energized. It's time for a gold rush.
Remember, listeners, go to www.w.gg, place in the promo code PR Multiverse, all together, all one word, all capital, and save 10% off your entire purchase. W Energy, delicious, jitterless energy.
And we are back with the Power Rangers Multiverse Rangers podcast again with our very special guest, young Tommy, Michael Gotto, Power Rangers Season 3 and Alien Rangers. Michael, thank you for coming on the podcast and for bringing such love to the fans. We thank you for that as well.
It's my honor. Thank you for having me. The first segment was so much fun. Looking forward to this one.
Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to have my second co-host, Demi. He's going to run our second half questions.
Cool. Ladies and gentlemen. And just let everyone know, I do have a lovely family, beautiful wife of 15 years and 4 wonderful, amazing, beautiful children. Aww. So I do have about 15 minutes probably for this segment because I need
that's perfect.
That's perfectly fine. It won't take us long.
We thank you for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Demi, the second co-host of this interview with the one and only, the amazing Michael Gotto, and I will be handling things. Our first question, I'm doing ladies first, as usual, comes from Rachel over in the UK. Rachel.
Oh. My question is, and hi everyone, Rachel here from England. My question is, what was it like to work with the cast of the Alien Rangers?
Oh, they were amazing. gosh, they were so fun and funny, and just positive, just like the OG Rangers, our older Ranger counterparts. They were all so encouraging of us as kids being on set. And funny story, I remember, just I don't know if you remember the popsicle scene where the alien rangers are eating the popsicles to stay hydrated.
Oh god,
They had
the
to
scene was so
eat
funny.
so many popsicles. I think brain freeze was involved, but they're just the sweetest people. And I actually got to reconnect with all but Raja, who played Delphine, in person at Power Morphicon. And I'm looking forward to seeing her in person. But I think we've spoken on the phone since. So they're just wonderful people.
And we've had Alan Palmer here recently on our show.
Oh,
Yes,
Alan
we
is
have.
amazing. Yeah. Great guy.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm still doing ladies first. Our next question is from Christy.
I have a question. What is your favorite memory of on set?
Apart from JDF giving me his communicator, I have a lot of fun favorite memories. I would say one that stands out is just me breaking character during this scene. When I get the giggles, I can't stop. And I got the giggles. And it was the last scene on one of a really, long day. And we were trying to get the shot, and I just could not stop laughing. So every time the director would say action, I would just bust up, right? And it was horrible, but funny at the same time, because the poor director was like, okay, Michael, he literally said, Michael, you need to pull it together. We got to get this shot. But then my laughing was making others laugh. Anyway, fun story to tell now, but back then,
That was the funniest way to tell.
I was having fun. I think it was frustrating some others.
Nice.
Who'll go with our host, Chris?
Well, Michael, like I've been a fan of Power Rangers for the full 30, for the full cycle.
That's awesome. What do you mind me asking? How old you were when you started watching?
15 years old, actually, believe it or not. I was well ripe into my teenage years when I started watching the Power Rangers.
That's awesome, but unique. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. So my question, Michael, is about the struggles. What kind of struggles have you had on set, if you had any?
I have a good one. So do you remember the scene where Billy has this molecular hydro atmospheric generator, and he's trying to get the moisture from the air to help the alien rangers or something to that effect? Mm-hmm. Well, I had originally this really long line, and it was really technical like that. Like, this is the hydro atmospheric generator, blah, blah, blah. Something, not that, just something Tommy wouldn't say. Normally it'd be something Billy would say, right? And I kept flubbing the line. It was like a tongue twister for me. I was just like, and so the director literally walks over. He's like, okay, this is not working. I'm going to rewrite the line. I want you to say this instead. And so he said, say it's a hydro atmospheric generator or something like that. So he literally threw in or something like that. That wasn't the original line, but he edited it for me.
And to properly introduce myself, Michael, I apologize. I forgot to introduce who I was. My name is Chris, and I'm also from New York. the lovely Becky. The lovely Becky is my wife.
Oh, very cool.
So,
which part of New York are you two from?
We are from just outside of Buffalo and just outside of Jamestown, in between there.
Okay.
We're in Steenburg, New York.
So I haven't been upstate or in that area. I've only been in, Manhattan and on Long Island. I said in Long Island one time, and I'll never do that again. But I have to just share this briefly, a little personal note. So follow me here. My mom was born in Buffalo.
Wow, really?
My father-in-law, my wife's dad, was born in Jamestown.
Oh, wow.
And they both ended up in California separately, and my wife and I ended up meeting so many years later.
Two New Yorkers meet in California. Poof, there you go.
When my husband, we came from Rochester, different eras. We're the same generation, but he's younger than me.
About 5 years.
Same generation. And we left Rochester to get a better situation in our life, and we met outside of Rochester. And here we are together, married 12 years, and it was like he followed me or something.
And here we are. And here we are as podcast rangers.
I love it. 12 years later. Congrats to you both. May the love
you.
continue.
It will.
Yeah, next up, Zoe.
Zoe, you're back.
Hello. Just because you was an alien ranger, at the power can.
Thank you.
I love that. My question is, what is one type of type piece of advice that young Tommy will give to a future young Tommy? Because my character plays, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but it's one of the characters plays the child of Tommy Oliver.
Oh, that's awesome. I think it would have to be, don't ever give up pursuing your dreams. You have your limit is the only one that you set for yourself. So set that bar high and pursue your dreams, because we miss 100% of the shots we don't take. And you never know if you don't try. So go for it.
That is some wise words. Next up, Orlando. He unmutes himself. Yeah, it's your turn. He's having technical difficulties.
Again?
Yeah, again, technical difficulties. So until he comes back, Joseph.
Yes, I am. I'm also from New York State as well, upstate near Albany.
Nice.
But there's one question I wanted to ask is, what was it like meeting True Heart? And this is actually a two-part question. And what kind of antics happened on set? Were there any pranks? And if so, who was the perpetrator of most of them?
Wow. I don't recall any pranks in particular, I'll be honest with you. And I was very focused. My dad, amazing dad, was very much about, Michael, you need to make sure you're on your mark. Make sure you're focused, and listening to the director and the production assistants. So I'm sure there was some of that going on. I just wasn't involved. And then True of Heart, such a sweet guy. He was I remember him being very focused on his lines. He would practice them, like in between takes. I would hear him saying his lines and getting into character, and so that when they said action, he was right there in the moment.
That's awesome.
And I thought he did a great job being my guide in the Zeo Quest episode.
Oh, we can all agree
Thank
on
you
that
very
one.
much.
He was fantastic. Dane, since you have it, it's your good now. Your turn.
Forgive me for that. My phone was being a dum-dum right now. My question was, my question is on similar basis with what Joseph said. Get out of my head. Even though you weren't really a part of any pranks, were there any just regular casual moments that kind of made you bust out a little giggle? Because we know how much you said that you got really bad cases of the giggles.
Yeah. What's another time? Let me think. I don't think it was in the classroom scene. Could have been on the bus scene. You remember when Rito and Goldar tried to take over our school bus?
Yeah.
And I devised a plan with everyone to throw whatever we had on the bus at them. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was laughing, but there was this one time when we were throwing things. Rito, the person who played Rito, had to say, "Wait a second, somebody's throwing it way too hard at me." We had to pull back a little bit. I think we were having a little too much fun with the things we were throwing at them.
Too much power.
And that's with the costume on, so you can imagine.
Poor guy.
How much time are we looking at, Demi?
I probably
it's
have
not.
time for one more.
It is not 21 now.
You got time for one now?
I probably have time for one more question.
Okay. This one, tough choice. I get this one to Ruby for the last one.
Yeah. Okay, since you asked us, what's your favorite season? You have to pick one.
Ooh. Great way to.
Nice return on that one. Yes.
Yeah. Full circle.
Yeah, all full circle. There you go.
Great
Ruby.
way to end it. I love it. I'll be honest. I haven't seen all the seasons.
It's
I'm
okay.
I'm
We're
just
not mad.
being honest.
Well, the ones you have seen. What's your
Of
favorite?
the ones I have seen, obviously the OG Mighty Morphin. But if that's not an option, I actually really did enjoy Dino and Cosmic Fury. My kids love watching it.
That was an option. You can say the OG.
It counts.
And I've met and become friends with several of the casts from that season, and they're just amazing people. And I just thought they were really well done.
Well, Michael Gotto, he has seen the first season and the last season.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Nice.
Well, Michael Gotto, we thank you so much for showing up to the Power Rangers Multiverse Rangers podcast. Do you want to plug your social media to your fans?
Oh, sure. I mean, I had such a blast tonight with you all. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It is an honor. And hopefully I'll see those of you I haven't met in person. Hopefully I'll see you in person one of these days. I am on Instagram and Facebook. I'm only just about a year into the social media world. So still building that and connecting there. But both handles are the same for those two platforms, and it's Michael R. Gotto, Gotto. The R is my middle initial in my name. If you look at the opening credits on our episodes, you'll see Michael R. Gotto, and R stands for Roy. So fun fact, we named the middle name of our fourth and final child is Benjamin Roy Gotto. So anyway, yes, it's Michael R. Gotto at Instagram and Facebook. Would love to connect with you there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael Gotto, for showing up to the podcast again. And Rangers, we need to get back out there. We got some work to do.
Thank you for spending time with us tonight.
Oh,
appreciate it.
Thank you
so much.
You're all amazing. Thank you for having me, guys.
You are
take
so
care.
welcome.
You're
Thank
so
you.
welcome. Thank
And
you.
may the power protect
May
you.
the power protect you.
May the power
May the power
protect you.
protect
Thank
you.
you.
May the power
Good night,
protect you
everyone.
as well.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.
Bye.